In a little year called 1986, Konami created and developed something that brought a new sense of the word adventure to gaming. The name Castlevania has a certain aura of life around it. Or maybe death? Anyways, for better or for worse, the franchise has given many players around the world a good challenge of old school gaming goodness throughout time and defined an entire genre of games for years to come. Nowadays, Castlevania has a kick-ass Netflix series, a wide variety of titles to choose from, whether you're looking to freshly dive in or just visiting familiar friends. Of all that and more is what brings us to the character we're covering today for Character Potential. That's right, it's Simon Belmont. Simon Belmont has a lot going for him. He's the star of the first two Castlevania games, appeared in various other titles in the franchise, helped save the day multiple times in Captain N the Game Master. He's even in Bomberman R. What? Wait, that's not a good thing? Oh, okay. Well, let's forget that last part, but still, Belmont is hard to forget, no doubt. In fact, when you think of classic gaming icons from the NES days, it's strange not to see Simon alongside his pals like Mario, Link, Samus, and even Ice Climbers. So let's head over to the stats page and see what he can do and why our boy should be a part of this ultimate experience. Let's crack the whip and see what we're dealing with. As usual, the ability score is based on a 1 to 9 scale in tribute to Smash AI. Power. This is a rating of how much damage his attacks will do compared to other fighters. Simon is listed as having strength beyond human capabilities, so obviously he will be quite strong. Probably give buff DDD a run for his money. All jokes aside, don't underestimate Belmont. It would be the last thing you do. Simon is 9 for 9 in power. Speed. Speed determines how fast he'll be. That means walking and running animation, swimming if it returns, dodge roll, your edge game, etc. In the series, Belmont isn't very nimble, but he makes up for that with his incredible strength and utility when it comes to a fight. I give Simon a 2 out of 9 in speed. I imagine him being similar to Ike in movement. Technique. This stat defines how much of a learning curve his moveset will be. It also shows how much utility he'll have in a fight. Having experience wielding a wide variety of weapons, doing an even wider variety of things, Simon can be unpredictable in battle and be extremely tough to read. This makes for great technique, which is why I give Belmont 9 out of 9. You'll definitely want to do your homework on this guy before you fight him. Jump. Jump is a rating of how high he jumps, how many jumps he gets, or how good his recovery is. Simon being a bulky guy with a ton of equipment, I can't see him being a great jumper. Of course, every character gets a jump and mid-air jump. Belmont's recovery is pretty good though, so he's placed at a 4 out of 9. Weight. Weight determines how light or heavy a character is. Listen, bud, you brought a lot of stuff to smash people with. That adds up. Being a 7 out of 9, Simon would be pretty tanky and tougher to smash off the stage. He would also not be floaty with his jumps at all. For Simon's special attacks, I'm going to pull from all across the series. We'll begin with the standard B special. Tap B to throw a dagger that will travel in a straight line for a short distance before vanishing. The range and damage is low, doing minor knockback. If you hold the B button down, this allows you to charge the dagger. Hold for 1 flash to use a silver knife, and 2 flashes to use a gold knife. The silver knife will fly across the whole screen and doing slightly more damage. The gold knife does the same, but will burst into flames if it hits an opponent, doing a small stun as well as minor fire damage over time. Although the stun can be great for setting up heavy smashing, the travel speed and trajectory make it a tough weapon to utilize often. Strategize when to use it and when to hold off. For Simon's forward B special, I would go with the axe. To make it more interesting though, Belmont will have the triple shot available, meaning he can launch anywhere from 1 to 3 axes upward and forward in an arc. These axes aren't terribly powerful, but the knockback is good, and you can use them for spacing on the battlefield, giving Simon time to get up close and personal with those quicker fighters that won't sit still. Simon's down B would be the Sacred Flame. Technically considered an upgrade to the Holy Water, this weapon would have great spacing utility as well as combo setup. Simon would throw the flame in a small arc that would hit the ground, causing a pillar of fire to rise from the spot it landed. This fire, while having minor knockback, can trap opponents, doing damage over time, similar to Ness's PK Fire or Robin's Arc Fire. This would allow Simon to go in for a deadly smash or to set up for other moves. For the up B special, Simon would use his whip, leaping up and lunging it outward. It would tether to edges, making his recovery rather good. Now for regular A attacks. For Simon's neutral A combo, he would do 3 strikes. Belmont would sling the whip back and forth horizontally, followed by the tried and true crack of the whip we see in the series. The first 2 attacks catch the opponent, while the third has a good knockback and solid damage. The forward A tilt would be Simon leaning in for a heavy elbow. He's a brawler. The up A tilt would be Belmont swinging the whip overhead like a lasso. Although it wouldn't have much vertical reach, the horizontal coverage would catch opponents trying to get the drop on you. The attack would have a multi-hit feature similar to Yoshi's down air. If you time this attack, it can do some solid damage and stagger opponents for a follow-up attack if you're quick. For Simon's down A tilt, he would do his classic crouching whip. This wouldn't do much damage, but like Peach's down A, it can get teched, so you can get multiple shots in for easy damage and combos. For the aerial versions of these attacks, they would be slightly altered to function and look visually correct, being midair. The neutral A would still be the crack of the whip. The forward air would be a swinging backhand instead of a leaning elbow. This attack would be one of your heavy hitters and be a KO attack for sure, just like the Falcon Knee or the Zelda Kick. For the up air, Belmont would do the whip lasso attack. Same rules apply. Simon's down air would be a whip strike, but angled downward. This attack wouldn't spike, but it has decent damage and knockback. Simon would have an interesting grab mechanic. Not only would he sling the whip out and grab opponents at a distance, he could tether to edges and grab opponents mid-air, pulling them in for a crushing knee. It would have a ridiculous hitbox to land, but if you connect it, it would do massive damage. If you miss, you'd be left open in a fumbled, unrecoverable state. For smash attacks, Simon would pull out the upgraded Morning Star. The forward smash would be Simon pulling back and doing a massive swing of the Morning Star. Any attack with the star does normal damage unless you hit with the star specifically. It has a sweet spot, which means you need proper spacing for these smashes to get truly deadly. For the up smash, Simon would do a full overhead swing of the Morning Star. This attack is powerful, but has startup lag and ending lag, so make sure you time it well or you'll be left open. Simon's down smash would almost be a Meta Knight style multi-swing, where he takes the Morning Star and swings it back and forth for a total of 3 hits. It covers both sides, so if you can read your opponent, time this attack right to smash them with a crushing down swing of the star. With Smash Ultimate's more cinematic final smashes, Simon would pull out the stopwatch. Any characters caught in the flash of the stopwatch activating would find themselves in the shadow of the moon looking up to see Simon's shadow over them. He would then do a massive sweep with the fire whip, automatically KO anybody who was caught in its reach. My ideas for Simon's taunts would be 1. Simon would pose, snapping the whip like a belt in his hands. 2. Belmont would pick up a chicken similar to the original game. Gotta get that munch on. And 3. Simon kneels as if near a grave. Spooky. For the stage, I would go with Dracula's Castle Gates. You know the one. You could battle in front of the iconic castle, have iconic Castlevania music playing, and have iconic battles. You could break candles to find items, and definitely have some classic enemies come through as stage hazards. Maybe even the man himself. For Little Mac's Punch-Out Boxing Arena, Simon's moniker would say Vampire Killer. And finally, Simon's logo would be the Castlevania C that looks like the crescent moon. And there you have it, guys. That is another character potential video done. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I had to do a lot of research. Castlevania was one of those games growing up that I always got to see and my friends talked about, but it was just one of those ones that I never got to play myself. So it was really fun doing some research on the character. I actually got to pick up one of the NES classics when they re-released them on the 29th, so I got to do some research on the character, play some of the classic games, and fill this request for a friend of mine. But yeah, let me know how you feel about this video. Let me know your opinions on the moveset. If you think it's good, if you think it's not, let me know. Definitely request any character you'd like to see done in the comments. I appreciate everybody that watches these videos. I appreciate all the feedback. You guys have been great. But yeah, let me know what you want to see, and I will do my best to make it happen. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. This is your pleb. This is Trev. Bye.